Amazon has this setting on the campaign level that they call the bidding strategy. There's three options. One of them almost always drives your ACoS too high. One of them is usually the right long-term setting. And one of them is the fix most people don't know they need when campaigns for a new product are not getting enough visibility. In this video, I'll show you how these bidding strategies work under the hood, which one is almost always the wrong choice, and how to use them strategically. These settings don't control how much your bid is. That's a separate number you set for each keyword within an ad group. Bidding strategies control when and how Amazon is allowed to adjust your bid on a particular search term, depending on whether they think the ad is going to convert for that customer or not. Let's go through each one. Now first, you have dynamic bids down only. This is the most popular option, and most of the time it is the best. Amazon can lower your bid if it determines a conversion is unlikely, but it can't raise it. It only moves in one direction. This is really good for just filtering out the bad searches that are unlikely to produce sales. So if you set a $1.50 bid and Amazon decides this particular click looks unlikely to convert, it can lower that bid significantly, sometimes close to zero. This means you end up paying less for that click or not competing for it at all. The result over time is lower average cost per clicks and lower ACoS. There is one trade-off though, and we'll come back to that in a minute. Then you have dynamic bids up and down. Now this one sounds appealing on paper. Amazon can raise your bid if it thinks a conversion is more likely, and lower it if it thinks a conversion is unlikely. Amazon actually promotes this strategy quite a bit. This is the one they prefer you to use. Now, until just recently, when you were creating a campaign, they had a couple sentences written that explained that up and down leads to more conversions at a lower cost per conversion. However, everyone who actually worked with these ads knew it wasn't true. I don't know how they got that data. They probably did some kind of sample where perhaps that was true, but you can just look. In my own personal experience and all over the internet, up and down does not do a good job. For example, a study by BidX analyzing roughly 10,000 campaigns compared all three strategies head to head. Up and down did produce a conversion rate of about 10% higher than down only, but it came with a 50% worse ACoS. The extra conversions cost significantly more than they were worth. That matches what I see in practice, and it matches what almost everyone who has written about this in any depth has found. The data just doesn't support using this strategy in almost every situation. Now, theoretically, if you're running a high budget campaign where maximizing sales volume matters more than controlling cost, up and down might make sense, but even in those cases, when I've tested it, I haven't found it to be more helpful. It just wastes more money and gives you the same results you would have gotten with down only. Next, you have fixed bids. Now, fixed bids means Amazon does not adjust your bid at all. Whatever you set is what your bid is for each auction. With this, you have full control. Now, this isn't typically the right long-term setting for most campaigns. You're just not getting any of the efficiency benefits that come from Amazon lowering your bids on low conversion placements, which it actually does pretty well. However, it's great for times where you want to force the platform to show a particular product more than it wants to. For example, when you launch a new product, Amazon has no sales history for it, so there's really no signal that people actually will buy that product. And new products don't tend to convert as well as established products. So Amazon lowers the bid in the background just like it's supposed to do. But sometimes it does that so much that the ad barely shows up at all. So you launch your product, you set up your campaigns, you set your bids, and nothing happens. You're barely spending. You check the campaign and everything looks active. The down-only setting is letting it pull your bids down because it has no reason to believe this product will convert customers. But in this case, you don't want it to be conservative and lower the bids. You want it to show the product and start getting some clicks. The solution is to switch to fixed bids for the first month or two after launch. This allows you to force the platform to show your product. You start getting clicks, and assuming your listing's in decent shape and the product and price are good, you start getting some sales. Those early sales are what Amazon needs to start forming a real conversion estimate for your product. Once it has that data, it can start making smarter decisions. And once you've got a few weeks of sales history, you can switch it back to down only and let it start trimming the inefficient clicks. You could also use this for times where maybe for one reason or another, you really want to force the platform to show a particular product more. A good general rule is to use down only as your default long-term setting. Fixed bids are a tool you reach for specifically when you just need to override Amazon's caution and force it to show you more. Up and down is almost basically never the right call. Now, this is just one part of how Amazon decides whether to show your ad and what you pay per click. The bidding strategy controls what Amazon can do with your bid, But there's a whole separate factor that has an arguably larger effect on both your visibility and your cost. That's your relevance score. Understanding how relevance works and how it interacts with your bid is what separates campaigns that actually perform from the ones that just spend money. I cover exactly that in the next video. Click right here to watch that video next.